Alright, we have the Konosuba movie coming out. We have the dub for the movie coming out quickly for once in April. Oh, they meant April of 2021. So after much delay, we got the Konosuba Movie Dub. Thanks, COVID, for taking just one more thing from me in 2020. So, after 8 whole months after the original release window, did the dub cast manage to wow me again? Let's find out. But before that, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps this video get to as many fans as possible, and if you really enjoy my content, hit that sub button. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 subs. And with that, let's begin the video. I'm not gonna lie to you, from the moment I finished watching the movie in theaters, I knew the dub team was going to have big problems selling this movie dub. But then again, I said a similar line of things when I first saw Konosuba originally. Click here to see my last video on my thoughts on the dub in general, in case you haven't seen it. But the point is, this movie has a strong focus on Kazuma and Megumin, and in my opinion, those are the two weaker characters of the main four. You see, what made me even watch the dub in the first place was watching clips online, and what really sold me were the clips of Darkness and Aqua. Though, it was mostly Darkness.
He speaks the truth, Kazuma! I have never felt such pain before! I am the Devil King's general's plaything! I can hardly stand it!
Hang in there! Once we're outside, we'll figure out how to stop the pain!
So, how's a movie that barely has the dub's cast stronger suits fare against this movie? Well, let's first start with Kazuma. Now, I've said this before, that I wasn't initially a huge fan of Kazuma, mainly because of his voice being dramatically higher pitched than his Japanese counterpart. But I have to say, his performance in the movie, while not mind-blowing, was definitely his best work yet. There were a lot of lines that I saw in the sub version that I had a really hard time seeing English Kazuma pull off, but he nailed just about every single one.
Did sign off on this though, so what's the worst that can happen? She can't sue me. She'd have no case. Or would she? Damn it, why didn't I check the laws about this kind of stuff? Because if I knew this would happen, I would have! First time a lady hits on me and I turn her down. Yeah! Oh, thank you.
It's alright now. You're safe. Stop it! You're getting snot all over my robe!
I don't care if you're hot! You'll get no mercy! You messed with the wrong guy tonight! I'm a champion of gender equality, and I'm gonna throw down on your ass!
Although not at fault of the voice actor, some of his lines did get rewritten slightly, most notably the tsundere lines in the beginning of the movie.
Thanks. The kid here's been super homesick lately.
Don't you dare call me kid!
Love is in the air for me and Union, and you're jealous. Well, you had your chance, so now you both can suck it!
While in that first example I showed, it's questionable as to why they decided to change that. But as for the second one, I'm gonna be honest with you, even though it's a fairly different line from the original, I still liked it. It still got the general idea, and in fact, most of the slight rewrites we had in this movie were perfectly valid. However, there is one rewrite that really just stood out to me, and it was Kazuma's big epic comedic finish.
Darling,
Darling.
love me.
Oh, yeah. Sylvia. 俺と一緒に行こうぜ Sylvia. Wherever you go, I go.
Love me?
Oh, yeah.
Now to me, this was probably the biggest letdown of the whole movie. When I watched this, it was one of the only times I legitimately said to myself, ah, fuck, they messed that up. When I first watched this movie in theaters, this scene had me and the whole audience dying from laughter. But hearing the rewritten version, which I know had to be done to match the mouth movements to make sense, but it just doesn't work. The whole dialogue between Kazuma and Sylvia just come off as awkward, which yes, it's supposed to be, but It's not a comedic awkward, but just a bad awkward. It sucks, but I don't really know what they could have done instead to make the scene make sense in English, while at the same time keep up with the pacing of the lines and mouth movement. Comedy is about timing, and unfortunately, the dub timing here was just bad and made the whole scene just fall flat on its face. But enough harping on that right now. Let's talk about the side characters now and their performances. I absolutely love Vanir. I know we already had his addition in Season 2, but hearing him in the whole movie was just so satisfying in every scene he's in.
If it isn't the boy who can't level up, no matter how hard he tries to level up.
Shut up.
And the sturdy woman who's only useful when calling in family favors. And the repulsive priest with her obnoxious aura.
What?
And the silly mage who only uses one silly spell. Welcome all! I am also here, oh cowardly boy. We came to see the village craftsman, someone I was told could fabricate your inventions. Although, it appears you've unleashed a magical weapon to save your skin.
I'd seriously listen to this dude all day. I'd watch a show just on him if I could. Moving on, let's briefly talk about some other side character performances. Bukurori and the rest of his squad were good, and sounded very over the top, which was exactly what I was looking for. Megumin's parents were both solid, but Komoko just sounded a little bit too much like Yunyuna just on a voice pitch changer.
You missed me while I was gone? Hey, Dad! Megumin's back and she snagged herself a man!
And just a little side tangent here. What the hell was this line? Why did she suddenly become British here?
Oh, we're gonna run and hide now. Look at the drying pool's glowing. Drying pool's glowing.
Overall, most of the side characters were given decent lines and felt like they tried for the most part. So that's good, considering they could have just easily just given characters throwaway voices. Now for Sylvia. While not bad, she left more to be desired, especially since she was the main antagonist of the movie. She did okay for the most part, but there was no part in the movie where I could say, hey, I really like the way she said this line or said this. She never really impressed me at all, and all I could really remember were her lines that disappointed, if anything at all.
違うまさかここであなたに見つかるとは
I'm so sorry, Wait a moment. No one speaks to me like that, especially you!
And now for the final action scene with Megumin and Yunyun's final attack. I absolutely loved this scene. When I first watched it originally, I knew English voice actor for Megumin had a very tall order trying to execute this scene.
剣を嵐響けを爆裂爆裂魔法はロマンなんですどんな不可能も可能にする最強の魔法なんですエクスプローズ Let the storm blow! Let the flames roar! Explosion magic's the greatest! It's the ultimate magic that turns the impossible possible! Explosion!
Well, if I'm being honest here, if you came to me to try to convince me that the moon was actually made of cheese, you'd have an easier time convincing me of that than you would telling me that the English VA would actually be better than the original Japanese in this scene. And that's because of how good Reed Takashi's performance was here. And that's why no matter what I say here, don't take it too seriously, as I'm very biased towards the Japanese VA for Megumin here. That being said, I have to say that Erica Mendez really did feel like she tried her hardest, and while I'll never say the scene was as good in English as it was in Japanese, I still did enjoy it. Which leads me to my conclusion. This movie may have not been the greatest work the dub team has done for Konosuba, but it still sure is entertaining. I may have had my share of issues with the movie dub, but honestly, when it comes down to it, they are simply just nitpicks. Nothing in this movie dub is ever majorly compromised. Sure, this movie didn't really get a chance to play to the dub's strengths, but at the end of the day, I still found myself really enjoying the movie another time. Which is then followed by a creeping feeling that it may be the last time I get to see new content for this anime. Season 3, when? Thank you for watching my video. If you're still here, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like. I'm not exactly sure what to do from here in terms of Konosuba content. I have an idea of going through the differences between the light novel and the anime. Let me know in the comments if that is something you'd like to watch. And if you want to try giving my gaming content a chance after watching this, try my last video on Half-Life Alyx. And thanks again for watching.